Hello, everyone. Fancy seeing all of you here. Today, we're going to talk about this topic generative and user personalized music, also known as procedural music. My name is Jonas Kjellberg. I'm from Sweden, and I'm the Chief Product Officer and one of the co founders of Reactional Music. We have our booth over there. You should come check us out after this. So, Reactional Music, we are musical frameworks for the game industry. We do a bunch of different things, which we'll cover here today. So, first of all, I'm guessing you all like music here. But the question is, do you respect music? And if so, why are all of you doing like, it doesn't work on the screen. Music in games today are not treated with the respect it should. So for the past 20 years, we've been doing it the same way, loop-based switching of states, stuff like that. And what we're going to talk about here today is that we need an evolution of music to follow in the footsteps of other big leaps made in the industry overall. So currently, you know how it goes. You have a composer, creates music, makes a lot of different loops and stems. You need to put that into Wise or Fmod and then add logic to it so it fades up and down and jumps back and forth and stuff like that. And the problem then is it doesn't really convey an agency either. Like both the composer doesn't have agency over the music. They do something, compose it and send it off. The player doesn't have real agency in the game either. They play the game along, but the music is often mismatched. But we're all conditioned to have mismatched music, so we don't care so much. And overall, it's a very static experience compared to the whole rest of the games today. So if we're looking at the game industry overall, we had previously, canned animations, and whenever they would walk through upstairs or through a doorway or something, it would look very canned and bad. And then we went into inverse kinematic, and suddenly the models could adapt to the environment. And same with shaders and lighting and all that stuff has made huge leaps in technology. But like we said before, music is still traditional WAV files that are linear. And we believe the next big leap for games is to have music that is also procedural and rule-based like every other system in games. So here's a video. This is a comparison of a 4-second loop or so as a WAV file and the same 4-second piece of music using the reactional system, doing it note by note. Which I think is pretty cool. Thank you. So then why choose reactional or procedural music overall? Well, for starters, the whole note-by-note music generation is what needs to happen in the games industry for music. And like we covered and you saw in the video, we could have real-time modulation of music on a detail level. So every thing that happens in the gameplay can make the music react to it. And likewise, the events from the music can have the game world react to it. So we get bidirectional communication. Every event that the music system generates will also have a callback into the game. So whether it be every note being triggered or whenever a chord change happens or a tempo change happens, you can have something respond to that in-game visually as well. And a fun tidbit also is that since this music is being played by in-game sampler instruments, at any time you can override the control of that so that the player can directly perform on those instruments instead of the pre-composed piece of music that the composers made. So it makes for a very compelling user experience as well. And you could use that to create multiplayer jam sessions where you're actually jamming together online without having any musical knowledge at all. What we also have is a huge content platform. So Reactional is also about bridging the music industry and the games industry together. So the music industry really wants to be in the games industry, but they don't know how to get in. And they've been used to making sync deals where big AAA studios can actually afford to sync certain songs. But they have a massive amount of music that could be put into a game, but they lack the connection there. So we've built a platform where you can browse music. We've got about 1 million production music tracks, and we're signing some labels on there as well, so you can get popular music. And all of these tracks are optimized for game use. So license-wise, it's fine to use for you in your games. But most importantly, we package them as reactional tracks, which means they all undergo AI music analysis pipeline, meaning we get bars and beats, chords, the segments of the track, and all those kinds of data from those tracks. And then you could use that data to procedurally create levels for a game, be it a music game or another type of game. But also, since you're hooking up your game to meta musical parameters, you can then, after the game has been released even, exchange that music for any music that is through this format, and the gameplay will still work because it's hooked up to those meta events. So this, we'll get to that actually. Let's see here. So why would you care? Apart from all the awesome thing I told you just now, for developers, we've tried to make it as seamless as possible, so integration should be super quick. On the platform, we also have some pre-composed interactive pieces of music that you can test out on your prototype, so you could have super interactive music in your white box level and have the prototype really come alive. And that's what we call the instant music part. And then if you have a composer composing for you, if they compose using this format, the bang for the buck is so good, because 2 hours of composed music, you could stretch that out to 20 hours of composed music that still sounds good in different keys, in different tempos, different instrumentations and stuff like that. So we, as composers who founded this company, we are artists first, and we don't want to replace composers. That's the opposite. We want composers to have more fun doing their cool music for games. And talking about storage, essentially 5 minutes of note-by-note music takes the same amount of space as if you would have 5 hours, essentially. Forgetting to breathe there. Right. And now we have a API video for developers. Sorry about that. The internet here is not fantastic. What's going on? So you see the callbacks happening up there. That's for every note you get a callback to the game. You can do whatever you want to those callbacks. And then the music is now responding to the distance to the rocks over there. And the API is super simple. It's a simple function call, set control, whatever the composers named it. And the music will essentially start reacting to that then. So for the player, then we want the players to actually feel like they're more playing a movie as a narrative experience. So instead of, you know, if you're in a epic fight and you start inspecting your inventory, it doesn't make sense that the music keeps blaring on. Everything should be sort of synced to the gameplay, and that's what you could do with a system like this. Yeah. The big. Mhm. Yeah, we can do Q&A afterward. But yeah, the big stinger was also part of the music and being triggered in time. Yeah, and this way you can actually tailor the music to the player how it's playing the game. But it also allows for personalization in a different level that comes to when it comes to music. So you could have the gamers actually pick songs for your game to play the game to. As long as you've hooked up to the meta musical events, it can just work with that as well. And for composers then, the thing that I disliked most about composing for games before doing this was that I didn't want to export a single loop ever again in my whole life, because that's the most boring piece of thing you have to do as a composer. So with our tool, you compose as you normally would in your DAW, and then you just drag drop your entire session into our authoring tool, and it automatically converts it to our format. As long as you use VST3s, it's going to work. And yeah, then you can start designing these musical interactivity blocks. So it's not AI generated music, it's composed music, so the musical essence is preserved, but you could still, you know, mess around with the ranges of the instruments, switch out the instrumentation, change key and stuff like that, but you can still feel that it's the music that you composed with the intent that you had composing it. And you can finally have storytelling moments that you can actually conceive as a composer, so you know whenever this parameter hits, it's going to sound like this, and you can actually design the music around things that's actually going to happen inside the game. And then, of course, money talks. Money is important. So what's good about this also is by allowing players to personalize their experience, you could have them have sort of musical skins packs for a game if you want to. You could have certain motifs that they can have playing that signify that this is them that won the game, for instance. And we have a revenue-based model if you do intend to sell music to the gamers, which means that we all share the spoils, and music then becomes a revenue stream instead of a cost for the developer. And of course, for the music industry, they want to get into the games space, and we allow them to connect artists to gamers directly through our systems. So we have thought I showed a trailer, and this trailer will contain where you have commercial music tracks playing along with the game. I think it's okay.
I've been down too long, yeah, I've been down too long. I've been down too long, yeah, I've been down too long. I can't right my wrongs, no, I can't right my wrongs. I've been down too long, yeah, I've been down too long. What you thought would...
Sorry. Skip ahead. So you already saw the other parts of that trailer. So with this, I want to let you go with knowing that we believe the future of music is with us, of course, but most importantly, procedural music and not wave-based linear loops. And we want you to go to our booth, join our beta, and you can have access to the online platform. If you're a composer or have a composer on board, you can sign up for the waitlist for the composer tool to convert the music like this. And we want to see you create super cool stuff with this technology, essentially. And before you also go, I want to let you know that Reactional Music is hosting the after party in Yaga Yaga later. So from 8 o'clock, we have a huge, cool surprise at 8, and then the rest of the evening, we're going to have gameplay challenges where we incorporate the DJ set into a shooter game, and the audience can come up and try to beat the high score while shooting to the beat. And it's going to be cool. You're going to love it. And we are right over there. You should come talk to us. Otherwise, visit our website, reactionalmusic.com. And of course, head to the after party and just grab a hold of us whenever you see us, and we'll happy to tell you more about our tech. Thank you so much, guys.